Let's get a move on. We've got Sandeep Sabharwal with us to guide us through his outlook on the markets. And Sandeep, after Friday's move, it seems like the resounding comeback has led to a pretty strong gap up on the GIFT Nifty. What is it that you're anticipating in terms of market positioning? What are you advising one do?
So I think markets, it seemed even before the results on Thursday, the panic bottom was made. So my guess is that we will not see those levels of the market at least in this year, calendar 2024. So the bottom for this year should be done. From here on, we have to look at in terms of buying opportunities on the large cap side, as I've been mentioning. I think the picks could remain similar where many of the stocks which are economy related, financials, or something like Reliance or M&M, we are seeing significant brokerage upgrades coming now, as was anticipated because the company itself had guided for a strong run in tractors in the second half. So I think there are many stocks which are there in the large cap side also, which offer value, and as markets stabilize, we could actually see some comeback from PSU stocks also, which have got beaten down substantially. And within that, also some could start moving up.
I was just going to come to that because Sandeep, many believe, at least the brokerage notes that we've been reading since morning, talking about as to how PSUs could very well make a comeback, especially after the state election verdict. But what within PSU do you think is going to jump up?
With the caveat that I don't buy PSUs much, but I think I track the PSUs a lot. So I think there are many PSUs which have got sold out significantly. So I would still be somewhat careful on the railway PSUs because there should be some stalling of capex. But on defense PSUs, some of the financiers, etc., or even some of the shipyards which got sold off more than 50%, we could see bounce back coming there.
But meantime, just wanted to get in your take, Sandeep, as to what the outlook is on the entire pharma space. You know, you've got Suven Pharma, for instance, which is in the spotlight, and the company has spoken about, CDMOs and how that's a big opportunity. But what else is looking good within pharma?
The pharma has been a sector which has overall been doing well, and at least many of the large cap companies have been reporting decent results. So we saw strong numbers from Lupin, we saw strong numbers from Sun Pharma. Dr. Reddy's performance was still lackluster, and near-term outlook seems hazy. So there we need to wait for better opportunities. And on the CDMO side also, there are many companies which have talked of opportunities, but smaller pharma I usually don't buy, but there could be opportunities there for investors who can evaluate that opportunity.
Right. Sandeep, Zomato is going to be included in the Sensex December end, about 23rd or so. But at 264 thereabouts, would you be a buyer?
Not at this point of time. Two, three things. One, on the quick commerce side, the competition is increasing. We've seen a couple of new players enter, and we are seeing Amazon also planning to make a big foray into that. So I think that could become one area of concern and remain cash guzzling for the company. And on top of that, you have the QIP also. So I think near-term movement could be lackluster for the stock.
Whatever said and done, Sandeep, just imagine the story of India. 15 years ago, there was only tomato, there was no Zomato. And now, tomato are being delivered by Zomato. The bottom line here is a startup has become part of the elite Sensex 30 company. And that's an extraordinary change for somebody who really wants to get inspired by where the country and where the essential new businesses are moving. I mean, it is not a mean feat for any company for that matter to be part of the Sensex 30 company in a matter of just 10, 12, 15 years of incubation, less than 15 years of incubation actually, and less than 5 years of his listing. So, I mean, it's an extraordinary story of a unknown brand has become an unforgettable franchise. That's Zomato for you. And like Sandeep pointed out, that there is competition which is intensifying in quick commerce. I was reading a news report in the morning that even Amazon, which in a sense really lauded this entire approach of Amazon Prime, where they were giving you delivery fast and quick, they are also now moving into quick commerce, and they want to really prepone their announcement late this year or early next year. And when Amazon enters into a market, guys, be rest assured that is serious competition. But Sandeep, the other side of the equation is that value retail stocks, because of this evolution of quick commerce, they've taken a backseat. Whether it's DMart, VMart, a lot of these so-called value retailers. Do you think the trade for 2025 could be avoid companies in quick commerce like Zomato and Swiggy, look at value retailers, because if economy comes back, consumption comes back, these beaten down value retailer stocks could be the comeback, could be the fallen angels of 2025. Sandeep?
Yeah, so VMart, we've actually seen VMart doing better, and in fact, they have turned around over the last 2-3 years. DMart, Avenue Supermarts, I had always maintained that the valuations are so high that the earnings growth picture, even before this competitive intensity of quick commerce started hurting them over the last few quarters, was excessive. I think valuations still seem excessive to me, but given the fact that the stock's fallen more than 30%, I would think, or even nearly 40% from the top, there could be some stability coming in at current levels, people watching the performance and then taking a view. But there's no compelling story as such in Avenue Supermarts as far as I'm concerned.
The another pocket, Sandeep, which has gone through stress this year, and because of obvious reason, is the QSR space. This entire space has had a table thumping debut. Couple of them got listed, then the slowdown hit them. If we are looking at a revival and a reversal in consumer patterns, demand, base effect, could QSR also be the comeback trade for 2025, Sandeep?
I would think so. I think these stocks have got beaten down so much, and some of them have very strong franchises. And there's no two doubts about that. And like we've seen some comeback from Jubilant, but then if the earnings revival keeps up, it could revive more. Then we have Devyani, then we have Westlife, etc. I think all of them should bounce back in 2025. Right now, there is low visibility in terms of growth revival, although the companies have been saying that the second half will be better. But then when there is low visibility, that's when you could potentially get stocks cheaper.
So I'm just picking up a lot of these contra themes here, because I've historically seen that it may just be a coincidence, but when the year changes, trends, they change. I mean, this year has been all about comeback, let's say, for some of these consumer tech and fintech stocks. This year has been all about how the reversal in some of the PSUs has started post July, September. Sandeep, if one works with an assumption that the center's policy making is unlikely to change after the Maharashtra election, could it be revival of the so-called Modi trade, which is good old PSU stocks, which are now beaten down? They're not all that expensive. They are not all that overbought. They could be in for a deep swell of 10 to 15%, 15 to 20% in the near term. Sandeep?
Yeah, it's very much possible. I would think that although PSUs have got beaten down across the board, so in some sectors the revival might be slow. Like I said earlier, railways, etc. It could be a slower revival. But on the defense, shipyard, PSU banks, we should see a comeback from many stocks.
Sandeep, same question to you as well. I mean, it is not that all the concerns in the world are over. We still have to deal with what could be called as the global Trump stroke dollar adjustment. Markets suddenly are looking appealing to everybody. Is the risk reward ratio favorable for those who wanted to buy should they buy even after a gap up start? It could be an L&T, it could be a Reliance, it could be a large cap, it could be a mid cap, but is the risk reward ratio, Sandeep, favorable to buy after today's gap up start? Sandeep.
You talked about the Trump trade. Now, the Trump trade, I don't think is bearish because one, people are expecting that because Trump takes over, dollar will keep on appreciating. His historic, you look back what he did last time and his statements out there, they actually favored a weak dollar to improve US competitiveness. You look at the pick of the US Treasury Secretary and the kind of cost-cutting measures they are talking of, etc. So I don't think it's a bearish trade per se. That I don't think that Trump trade is bearish for either the US or global equity markets. What we should fear more is whether in the guise of simplicity, making things simpler, taxes are further increased in the upcoming budget after strong political victories. I think that should be a bigger concern for investors, and that we'll get to know only January end.
All right. Meantime, you've got Zomato as well that will be in the spotlight today. Of course, you do have the overall fundraise news, 8,500 crore rupee QIP plan, and then that's not it. You've also got the fact that the counter is going to enter the Sensex effective 23rd December and the F&O segment from the 29th of November. So that's going to keep the stock in the spotlight. Sandeep, just curious, given that now we have Swiggy, which has very much cemented itself. We've got quite a bit of attention that it's seen from a lot of brokerages as well. What's your outlook on the battle between the two?
Oh, so I think both are sort of complementary. Like, I don't think it's one against the other because till now it was like it's largely a duopoly market as far as food delivery is concerned. The concern for both of these companies could come in the instant delivery or the rapid delivery market where the competition is intensifying and where the cash burns are higher. So how that is handled, I think that will determine whether the stocks can do well from the current levels also. Because Zomato's done very well. Swiggy's got listed at a high valuation because Zomato did very well. So I think the valuations at these prices don't seem as compelling.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.